What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Beyond the Scare. It's been a couple weeks. We're so excited to be back. Welcome,
Yes.
welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm one of your hosts, Danny Royce. I'm joined by my bro. What's good, Pauly?
What's going on, everybody? Happy to see you guys again.
Yes, yes, yes. We are back. We are back. A lot of exciting things to talk about. But before we get into today's scare episode, I want to say welcome to all those new listeners if you're just now joining us. And welcome back to all those who have been sticking out with us from the beginning. As you know, Beyond the Scare is a horror podcast where we like to dive deep beyond and talk about all things horror. And before we get into today's scare episode, I want to remind y'all to hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow us on Instagram. And we love to hear your feedback and talk about any horror topics that you have and want to discuss. Thank you for tuning in, y'all. Pauly, let's get into it. Man, let's talk about it. So for our new release film that we're going to discuss is Lee Cronin's The Mummy. But before we get into it, Pauly, I want to quote. I want the viewers to to know about your first thing that you said to me. Yeah, I quote, was it irritated my soul? I just wanted to start off with that, y'all, because we got to dig into that. Let's get into it, Paul. I want to know exactly, because, ladies and gentlemen, I've never heard him say that about any film. And it was hilarious because I can imagine everything. But let's dive into it.
I am dying right now. Yes, Danny, I did say that, and yeah, we're going to talk about why. But all right, so Lee Cronin's The Mummy, and I think it's very telling that in the title, we put Lee Cronin's The Mummy.
Yes.
Yeah, very telling, and we're gonna get into that too. But it is a 2026 American supernatural horror film written and directed by Lee Cronin. As we know, Lee Cronin did Evil Dead Rise, The Hole in the Ground, and the upcoming Evil Dead Burn that I think is coming out later this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this film was a reimagining of the Mummy franchise. The film starred Jack Rayner, Lena Costa, Mae Commonwealth, Natalie Grace, and Veronica Falcon. So basically, the film follows a family who is reunited with their long lost, missing daughter. And it turns out that the daughter ended up being mummified. Once they find the daughter, they start to realize that there's something not so right about her.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to note that Blumhouse Productions was also involved with the production of this film. So you got a lot of that, vibe from the movie as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's start off with just kind of giving like the viewers kind of the opening of the movie and kind of diving it that way, I guess. So the movie starts off in Egypt. You see a family, they arrive there, they see their pet bird is dead. The parents end up going to the cellar where it shows that there's this area built over like this pyramid. And then you see like a sarcophagus, right? And it contains a mummified human remains. Something happens, that mummy, whoever it was, comes to life, ends up killing I don't know if it was a dad, husband, whoever it was, but it dies by a supernatural force. And then that basically cuts to basically the family at that point, and who are now living in Cairo.
Mm-hmm.
An investigative reporter, the dad, Charlie, he lives with Larissa's wife, kids, Katie and Sebastian. As we know, Katie is the one who does get kidnapped. And as we learn, it is by the same woman at the beginning of the film who encountered the original sarcophagus.
Yeah.
So flash forward after the daughter is kidnapped, 8 years later, they end up finding her because a plane crashed. And they were apparently the people that were flying the plane were trying to move the sarcophagus, aka Katie, the mummified Katie, and it crashes, and that's how they find Katie. So they contact the parents, they were united, and then here we are.
Right.
Yes. So, I mean, to start off, I mean, I think it's very obvious, and Danny can chime in on this too. This film is not about mummies. It's not about, has nothing to do with the previous mummy movies. You're not even really learning anything about the whole like Egyptian lore of mummification or anything like that. So don't expect that. It's more of like a supernatural possession movie, right?
Yeah. I would definitely say it's going along a paranormal horror. And but yeah, I'll go ahead. I have more to say, but go ahead.
Right. So I mean, in essence, the only, I guess you would say, concept of mummification that we encounter is obviously at the beginning when we see the mummified individual in the sarcophagus, Katie, when we kind of see the video and of her, what actually happened to Katie, and them preparing her body and everything. So, but other than that, that's not a lot, right? The main thing here is why it had to happen, right?
Right, exactly.
So that's the main thing. And we learned this through some of the what I forgot what language it was.
It's the hieroglyphics.
Yeah, hieroglyphics. Yeah, because he thought it was hieroglyphics, and then the professor told him no, it was hieroglyphics.
The ancient Egyptian cursive.
Right, exactly. In regards to a demon,
Nazmaranian,
a demon, yes, Egyptian devil, which predates the birth of Christ, about 3000 BC. And basically they have to keep him harnessed and basically in check, right? And the only way to do that would be to have him take over someone's body and mummify body so that will contain the demon.
Right.
And so you're continuing this cycle of just holding the demon at bay through mummification.
Right.
Obviously, the demon gets out when Katie, like we learned that Katie was not supposed to be transferred and she wasn't supposed to be out. She's supposed to be contained for the entirety of her life. That's the whole thing that, Layla, that was a daughter, right? She helped. The whole reason for that was because she said a younger kid, like a young child, would be better because they have longer life, right?
Yeah, but exactly.
Any live human could work. Obviously, the older they are, the less time they have. So it's basically this cycle of just like trying to keep this demon at bay, and they find out what happens when the demon is not contained.
Yes. So the family, because it's a family curse, right? So she talked about what plagued the family. So, I mean, we didn't really go into like how their family, Layla's family, became the point of contact for Nazmaranian, why they were picked and cursed to do this. So we learned that Nazmaranian can't inhabit a dead body, right, or too long because in the beginning. I don't know about you, but that body was pretty dead and that it was in there. So I'm like, because they were waiting for him to wake up, or they thought he was going to wake up. So I was confused about that. It wasn't really clear throughout the rest of the film about that whole situation. How long can he stay in the body? When does he wake up? Why does he wake up? That type of thing. Yeah. So it was interesting.
Yeah, I agree. And assuming that they have to transfer the body at a certain moment,
right,
before that body decays completely or something. How is that? Because you saw that particular person who the demon was inhabiting at that point, he was able to use his powers at that point. So at what point do they know that they have to transfer? I guess so. That was thing for
Yeah.
me. Well, but I mean, honestly, the whole entire movie was.
It was so interesting. Yeah, let's dig into it. Let's talk about some of your. I mean, let's start at the beginning, like as some good things. All right. So, um, what are some of the good things that you picked out from this film?
So,
I'm done. Sign it up.
so the family dynamics was kind of interesting to me. Even though I felt like there wasn't a lot of character development, I felt
Hmm.
that um,
Yeah.
I felt that the what we did see was appropriate for the most part. Um, probably the best, interaction for me, and that held the most emotion, and I thought was delivered well, was when Charlie and Larissa, they had that conversation when he's just like, maybe we should take her somewhere. And Larissa's like, no, I can take care of my daughter. And then he's like, I know you blame me for this. You just don't say
Yeah.
it on your face. And then he was like, where were you all those times she was getting that chocolate?
Right.
So I thought that interaction was very good and powerful. That was probably what, if I had to pick a part that stuck out with me the most in regards to something that was just real and raw, it was that. I thought Act 3 was good. Once that Act 3 happened, I was like more engaged in it.
Hmm.
It wasn't great, but it was something.
Yeah.
The movie shouldn't be called The Mummy, so that kind of annoyed me too.
Hmm.
And the ending was very predictable also, because I mean, it's like, you knew what's going to happen, right? Like, they're going to transfer. If it goes into Charlie, then obviously the once I saw that, what's her
Once
name
you
was,
saw you, she was live. Yeah.
like, obviously they're going to put it in her. Maybe you have more.
It was so, I was gonna say it was so funny. I only asked the good things, and we just went to everything that was bad.
I found it like
We
those were,
found a way anyway.
because I got a lot of more bad things, honestly. So
Yeah, I know. That's why I wanted to start with the good. I get it. No, definitely. I agree. I agree. It was what I like to call, and what a lot of people like to call, a gross flick. You know what I mean? I think it was more so paranormal and gross flick. Like a lot. It was so many gross moments
a lot of body.
in the film.
Like,
Body decaying, nails coming out. I ain't gonna lie, I was laughing in some moments. My girl Veronica Falcone, I love her from Queen of the South and so many other things, but she got her ass beat this entire movie. Granny got like
her teeth knocked out, like she was getting those coyotes.
she got bit. She got bit in the hand. She got headbutt. She kept coming back praying for her. I'm like, if you don't get out of this house,
I knew she
that
was
was insane.
gonna be a
I
person.
was like, right. First off, and then like you said, it's just because it happens to happen in Egypt and there's a sarcophagus involved doesn't mean we need to call the movie The Mummy. It doesn't, and it just didn't make sense to me. It was definitely along the lines of The Exorcist, Conjuring,
Even Pet Cemetery.
Pet Cemetery. Yes, yes. Okay, back to the good things. I'm sorry. I did enjoy the dynamics of in moments, the mother and sorry, what's the daughter's name? Um,
Katie.
Katie. Yes, sorry. I did enjoy some of those moments because it was like the touching, moments when she's trying to understand her daughter. She's trying to get her daughter back, the way she left 8 years ago, but just wasn't there. I feel like I didn't care enough for any of the characters.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, not even the little brother. I'm like, oh, you lost your, big sister for 8 years. Now it's kind of, it just really didn't. She turned it, like, again, back to the whole paranormal, turned the whole army against, and I get it. The demon is like family destroyer, but it's like, that's all we got, guys. You know what I mean? Like, it just wasn't enough for me. But I will say, and I gotta admit, this probably happened for a lot of people. The whole aspect of kidnapping and you know, child trafficking, like that was triggering for a lot of people. So they can probably like really, make that's a feeling, that kind of that emotion, that brings that emotion out of the audience.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, it had some good moments as far as the gore,
Mhm.
that funeral scene. That's the
The
funeral scene. The funeral scene. The funeral scene.
But I did want to comment on something you said though before we get into the funeral scene. The whole kidnapping and trafficking thing that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I agree with you with that. That's another thing I'll point out that was kind of well done, and it definitely pulled you in.
Yeah.
Because it does. Even I forgot the detective's name, but the detective was like,
Yeah.
once she found out she was like, this person was grooming this girl.
Mhm.
Like he was, it was a plan. It was a long time, like a long process in doing it.
Right.
I felt that part definitely drawing you in, but then after that, it just like it had like high peaks and it fell flat, flat, flat,
That's what
flat,
I'm saying. Yeah.
flat, flat, flat. But yeah, I just want to point that out. But the funeral, that was just like too much because I'm just like, what is going on? Little girl, the daughter, the youngest one that
The
was
youngest one.
Katie left, Maud, just grabbing grandma's teeth.
Taking out her own teeth. Grabbing grandma's teeth. And
That part was creepy though when she smiled with grandma's teeth. You was just like,
yeah, that was creepy. And then you got Katie coming through the ceiling. That was also like, what is going on here? And then going into grandma's her coffin, and I just can't.
eating her. Like,
It was
really?
so why was she eating her neck? Like, what was the point of that? Did
That's
you
what
know? Like,
I'm trying to say. There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense. It's just
it was
like,
just it was just like pointless, gross things just to make you like, what I mean? I'm all about gross. I love a good gross flick, but make it just make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's
come
what I'm
on.
saying. Just make it make sense. And then the part, yeah, I mean, the only part I honestly like kind of like cringed at was like, ooh, was the nail part. Like when she was like
Oh
trying to
yeah.
nails
Oh
into,
yeah.
I was like, oh,
That was a rough one. That was a rough one.
that
The
was
nail, and then her stripping her skin off at the end was kind of crazy.
yeah, that was basically, yeah. So basically, at that point, when she was taking all of the wraps off, that was freeing the demon and making, I guess, like making him more powerful, right? Like because he wasn't contained anymore, I guess. And I don't understand the whole like controlling of everybody. I don't
Yeah,
understand that aspect either. Um,
mind manipulation, making people like they're his slaves, so to speak. But I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay.
yeah. Literally, how I'm looking at you is how I was looking at them. I'm like,
Right.
so I go back to the when I texted you, what I said. It's because I was so irritated by the entire like movie and just like it's just what it was doing and what it wasn't doing. It was
Right.
like I can't stand it. Like literally, I was sitting
Right.
there, I was looking around in theater. I'm just like, Like I'm just like irritated, right? And like
Yeah.
my theater was like half full, so like people were in there, and I was like very curious of what they were thinking and stuff. And like at the end, I kind of because I stay and watch the credits and everything like that. I didn't hear much chatter. Like I didn't hear like people about it. I didn't hear excitement. I did hear a couple comments like that was gross because it was. It was a lot of gross, right? But I mean, that's it. Like you know what I mean? You can see that in like Saw.
Yeah. It just didn't do it for me. I mean, I've seen worse. We both seen worse, but but yeah,
It was a good. It was a if you want to say flat out horror film.
Yeah,
like,
stand alone.
Yeah, it was a good horror film, right? Because it was gross. You have that blood and gore that horror is about. You kind of have like those like suspense parts, like oh wow, that's really happening. But you look at like the plot and like what's happening and like do things make sense and why is it called The Mummy? It's fascinating.
Right. No, I definitely agree. Definitely agree. So Rotten Tomatoes gave it 46%, and it's 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb. So 46% Rotten Tomatoes is an F. So
point out too, since you pointed out the scores on Rotten Tomatoes and everything, it's estimated to gross around 13 million domestically, 34 million, and they had a budget of 22 million. So I guess if you have marketing and distribution costs and stuff, they will come out with some type of profit, but not a lot. You know?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I feel like because yes, Blumhouse did have a part in this. I feel like it was one of those like, oh, my cousin wrote this, and Lee Cronin got a hookup with somebody, like, oh, okay, let's put the name on it, let's get this made, whatever. Like they didn't really look to get any real profit from this. It was more just like, yeah, let's just put it out there. Let's see what's going. You know what I mean? That's what I get from this, which is fine. You know what I mean?
That's the vibe you get, right? But I was actually reading, and they had planned when they did this. They had planned to do a sequel to it.
Oh God!
I don't think that's going to happen now, because it fell flat for a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people went in there expecting one thing, got something completely different. And for horror fans, they may have been like, okay, cool with the difference, right? But you have some people that are just like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
Especially with Mummy coming out again, right?
Yeah.
I think all the cast is coming back from the original Mummy. Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, everyone is coming back on.
Yeah. So especially when you have that coming, and then you do something like this to try to reimage the whole thing, this is like one of those movies that are just not going to be remembered. It's just going to kind of fall in the shadows, I feel like, unfortunately.
It really is.
I want to read one comment that I did find on like a review. I think it's kind of funny. You can tell me what you think of this. I mean, not funny, but true. So it says, the problem with horror remakes and updates is that Hollywood forgot why the originals worked in the first place. They were mainly morality plays. Dracula equals evil, can be seductive. Frankenstein equals don't mess with God's domain, abusing the innocent and can lead to their being abusive. Wolfman, Invisible Man, analogous to alcoholism and drug use. Creature from the Black Lagoon equals to Beauty and the Beast meets Leave Nature Alone. The Mummy, romantic obsession and stalking. They forget that even though it's horror, it has to touch people's feelings and make them want more.
Yes.
You agree with all that?
I definitely agree. And it goes to what, Wes Craven used to say a lot in his films. He would use oftentimes things that happen in society and societal norms, all that in his writings and his films. There has to be, and that's why I brought out the whole, child trafficking, because that situation does bring out emotions. But as you said, it like fell flat in a lot of times. But if they captivated that in a better way, and actually used the mummy, that would have been, it would have been really different. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that's a great quote. Uh,
Mm,
and that's a staple of horror. We don't just throw stuff together, gross stuff, and just like, okay, it's there. Why? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Give me more, give me more. So yeah.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that too, and that's why I want to point that out to you and the viewers. And I also agree with something you just said too. I feel like that if the movie would have called something completely different, I feel like it could have
Yeah.
worked better.
Yes.
Because they could have completely eliminated the Egypt, the mummification side of things, all that, and you take this something that's at the heart of the movie, which is like you said, child abduction, child
Hmm.
trafficking, and then for horror aspect, which is child trafficking and child abuse, all that is scary enough. But if you
Right.
add something in like a demon,
Yeah.
uh, possession, just make it a possession movie.
Right. Yeah. That's basically what it should have been.
Make it a possession movie. The child was kidnapped, and then I feel like then we would have felt it more, the kidnapping.
Yeah.
But I feel like the mummification side of things and that overshadowed the kind of what people are feeling in that moment of the abduction and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. And the Egyptian thing, the Cairo thing, it just felt out of place. Like, yeah, he's got a job there and he was about to go to New York, but it's like it was just weird to me. It was a lot going on. It's a lot going on.
That's what I mean by just hitting my soul. I felt there were too many like components, and the components weren't adding together, and it just
Right.
didn't make sense. I'm just like, get me out of here.
All right. Well, I mean, we gotta rate it. So let's see. Um, I guess I'll go first.
All right.
um, my. All right. So let's go ahead and rate our new release. And so I'll go first. Last words, basically just said them. But I do want to say that as from a storyteller point of view, from an artist's point of view, my hats are off to always people just creating and putting their work out there, no matter what the feedback is. So yes, exactly. But so going on to the review, as I mentioned before, everything I stand by. Like I said, is I enjoyed it as a horror gore flick. The Mummy was misleading. A lot of things didn't really puzzle together like I wanted it to. Parts were creepy. Some of the dynamics were good. Some of the acting was good, but I just feel like they didn't have enough great material to work off of, which can be the thing. So overall, I'm gonna give it, because I do have respect for it, a C. I gotta give it a C.
Okay. I
I was
like
gonna
it.
give it a C plus, but I probably will never see this movie again. And it just is. It is what it is. Like I will not actively seek it to watch it again, and that's why
Right.
I gotta give it a C.
Right. All right.
How about you?
So honestly, my final thoughts, I literally mimic everything you just said. Um, for me, however, I feel, in addition to everything you just said, I feel for me it wasn't that great of a horror movie because, again, it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Even the demon side of things and the destroyer families, like why did it pick this family? Like where did it? I understand just demons exist, but it just didn't add everything to me.
Right.
Like when you come at me like just like a horror gore type thing, like yes, it was gross. Like there
Yes.
where it's just like, oh, that's happening, like what's going on? Definitely I enjoyed that side of things. But because of all that, I give it a C minus. I will never see this movie again.
Right.
It was what it was. Some people out there may have enjoyed it. People that are just like horror gore fans, I feel like they would definitely enjoy this.
Yeah.
If you look at the possession side of things, like I would have enjoyed it if this would have just been a straight up possession movie, and it they made it make a little bit more sense, like combined everything.
Of course.
Good, but like you were saying, even some of the dynamics were okay, but even the acting fell a little flat. The relationships weren't that believable to me.
No.
And our performance was Veronica, like, so
right. Right. She was the one that got toe up. So
yeah, that's it. C minus.
Okay. All right. I feel that for sure. So ladies and gentlemen, please go check it out if you want, just curious, just to see a film, see what we're talking about. Lee Cronin's The Mummy is out now in theaters. Let us know what your thoughts were. If you have seen it already, you actually enjoyed it, we would love to know what you enjoyed.
Danny, you stupid. No, seriously, like.
No, seriously, no.
I was reading, so I was looking at some of the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, and literally all people said that liked it was just that it was a good horror movie. It was a great horror movie.
That's what I'm saying. Right.
There wasn't any like explanation, no example.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, all right.
You just gotta come and expecting just a little thrill for your steal, and that's it. So just that's all you're gonna get. But yeah, please let us know what you think. We'd love to break it down and see what you thought out there, and if it aligns with us. But yeah, so that's The Mummy. So let's move it on to our next thing. So we want to talk about some things that are actually like happening. They're actually a real life story. So we like to talk about certain things that go on that are in comparison to our new release. So what we got, Pauly? We talking about mummies.
Yes. So yeah, we're talking about mummies. And for those of our viewers that aren't familiar with mummies or mummification, I should say, I guess you would say the procedure was perfected in ancient Egypt over 4,000 years ago. It was basically done to ensure immortality and that the soul and the body would remain preserved and the soul would be intact, so it could exist in the afterlife.
Right.
Organs were removed prior to that. There was like this type of drying process. And then they were basically wrapped in resin-soaked linen, and it was like, it's pretty. I mean, if you've ever like have seen it, it's a kind of cool process, right? It's kind of cool to watch. We want to kind of talk about kind of like the real life mummifications, kind of the creepy ones that have been discovered throughout history.
Yeah.
So the first one we have. Was actually discovered in Egypt, and this one is called the Mummy with the Painted Face. It's probably the creepiest.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Just painted face on there. Not even a sarcophagus painted.
So this one, as you can see, there's like a writing on the face. This one is currently displayed in the British Museum, and it looks. People say it looks really sinister. Because of the strange drawn-on face. But I mean, tales of cursed mummies date back to the 19th century. It's believed that there's the Pharaoh's curse, which we all kind of learned about in movies and everything. Exists and everything. But during these shows, real mummies were unwrapped in front of enthralled audiences, and people would basically like be horrified by like what it would look like.
Yeah.
So this one we definitely put up here because it's creepy.
Yeah, that is a creepy one.
The next one is Rosalia.
Yeah. Wow.
That's incredible, right, Danny?
Yeah, looks like just a porcelain doll.
Yeah. So the extent of the preservation in this one, that's what makes it so creepy, as Danny already just pointed out. It looks like she's just asleep.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think about. Rosalia, she was only 2 years old when she died of pneumonia in 1920 in Sicily. Her great father wanted a way to memorialize her for eternity. So they did this. They did like a mummification process.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't see many like this, obviously. So
Yeah, 106 years old. That's crazy.
this one is pretty crazy, definitely.
Yeah, that one's wow.
Danny, you actually pronounced this better than I did.
the Kila Keat Soak. Kila Keat Soak.
Keat Salt baby mummy from Greenland.
Wow.
This is another case of live burial. This was a 6-month-old baby boy in Greenland. He was found on top of a stack of 3 female mummies.
Wow.
Yeah, and another young boy. They were all preserved by the icy climate. So it is thought that he could have had Down syndrome and that he was placed in a grave alive next to his dead mother. It's the Eskimo tradition back in that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That looks terrifying. It looks like a doll, just like a cursed doll.
Yeah, right. It just looks like a curse. It's scary. It's creepy. That's something I wouldn't want to see before going to sleep.
Wow. Oh yes.
And lastly, we got Ramses.
Yeah.
Ramses the Second. So Ramses the Second, Ramses the Great. He's best believed to be. He's noted to be one of the best preserved mummies in the entire world. A lot of our viewers have heard or even seen this actual picture. The linen over Ramses' second body is covered in hieroglyphics, which explain that after he was first buried in the Valley of the Kings, priests were forced to move the mummy because of looting. So he had been rewrapped and was first relocated to the tomb of a queen. Later, he moved to a tomb of a high priest. Ramses, he died in 1213, one of the best-known Egyptian pharaohs, and he's believed to have been the possible ruler of Egypt during the Exodus of Moses, and he is represented as such in many works of fiction. So, obviously, like I said, probably one of the most famous mummies. People have probably seen him. Obviously, you've heard of him, through biblical accounts and everything like that. So, definitely want to point this Ramses out as well.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Yeah. See, that's what you think about when you think of, mummies. You know what I mean? It's of course there's some paranormal into it, of course. Egyptians, you have the Egyptian gods and witchcraft and all that stuff. But, it's just I don't know. You guys tell me.
Curse of the mummy's tomb, stuff like that. You have these, like you said, supernatural paranormal aspects to it, but there usually involves more aspect of the mummy.
Right.
Of it to the plot.
I'm just like, okay. All right. Well, I mean, I love that that aspect of it, and it's what's really got me excited for the upcoming movie, The Mummy. Brendan Fraser's back, Oded Fur, Rachel Weisz. Let's go. I'm super excited. But we also have another upcoming film that we want to talk about. And what is that new upcoming film? What we got going on?
So that film, sir, is called Deep Water.
Deep Water.
Yes. Be coming out this year, next Friday, I believe, right? Yeah, May 1st. May 1st. And it has to do with sharks, right?
Go figure.
When you think like deep water, open water, what's that other one? Adrift. I can't remember the other one. But anyway, when you think of those movies, you think of like
No Way Up.
Like stuff like that. So there is a plane crash, there's sharks involved and everything. And I mean, it looks exciting, but we want to watch the trailer, right?
Yeah, let's check it out. I haven't seen the full one. Let's go.
All right, this is Deep Water.
Like you wanted to take a swing at me over that flap check. Isn't that how you got bounced out of the Air Force?
That senior officer had it coming. You're annoying.
You're now free to move about the cabin.
Where's Mom and Dad? You're back there. Way out of your league.
Oh, wait, what if I've got a great personality?
You don't.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Tail down, 100 feet.
Brace, pulling back.
What do we do?
We find survivors.
Nope.
Oh, wow.
Where's my little brother?
Okay, it's gonna be all right.
You know it's not true!
The way I see it, we have one job to do. And that is to get home to see our families. You just gotta hold on.
Got the sound at the end. Love it. All right. Interesting. Okay.
Very interesting.
Uh-huh. You know, it's given like it's got some action in it. You know what I mean? I do like you know, some of the cast. We got Ben Kingsley and Aaron Eckhart, you know. Always great seeing them on the screen. But yeah, we'll see. I think I mentioned to you before, it's only so much you can do with like movies like this with the sharks and what's been done before, what have you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to get new ground, so we'll see what they do with it.
Right, yeah. I think we were talking about this earlier. There's one movie that came to mind when we were talking about discussing this, No Way Up. It had similar premise.
Yeah.
Airplane crashing, sharks involved, and everything like that. So I mean, I just like movies like this, like you said, like I can be very repetitive, and it can be very like new. There's not a lot of new ground or new areas to take it. So it's interesting to see what they do with this.
So yes, I'm interested to see what they do differently. So that'll be our next scare show. We're gonna be talking about deep water. So we got a lot of great stuff coming up, y'all. We're happy to be back, and we got some future scare shows. They're gonna be really good. Great year for movies in general. But what we're gonna be talking about upcoming films is Passenger, coming out May 22nd, directed by Andre Overdahl, starring Jacob Scipio and Melissa Leo and Lou Lobel. And then we're also going to be discussing, coming up in the future, Scare Soul Corporate Retreat. That comes out May 22nd. Director Aaron Fisher, starring Kirby Johnson, Ashton Sanders, Alan Ruck, and Odea Rush. So to give you a little insight, and we're super excited. Got a lot of things coming up, and we got other stuff coming up next month. A nice convention. Great things to look forward to. Monster Palooza. So please stay tuned, y'all. We got a lot of great stuff coming up with that. Behind the scenes, you can walk out with us on the floors and see what's going on. We'll have interviews coming up as well. So great things to look forward to.
Yeah, y'all know we like to show up and show out. So get ready. what we got in store for y'all.
Yes, indeed. Those costumes are coming.
They're gonna be on point.
As always.
All right, thanks so much for joining us this Scare Soul, guys. Again, if you just want to go see a horror movie, you got nothing to do, check out Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Do what you're gonna do. Oh yeah. That was nice.
Check it out.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if you like
thank you everybody.
Fringe factor and stuff, you
Exactly.
You'll like
a
it.
little gore, a little,
Yeah,
it's-
you'll definitely like it. All right, Danny, where can they find you?
You can find me everywhere at I am Danny Royce.
You guys can find me at Alpha Boys and I1. Thanks so much for coming by, guys. And we will see you next Scared Stowed.
Yes, indeed. Stay creepy, y'all.